Ha 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 ha
Ha, 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 ha.
Bad Bobs, what you gonna do? You DDoS my game and I'm coming for you. Bad Bobs, what you gonna do? No, I'm going to walk away. Hey, wait, pay attention to me. Come on,
Ha, ha,
bad.
ha, 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 ha. Why are you so small?
The camera made me look small, and that guy, he was too big. And I'm small.
Ha, ha, ha. You said small.
How about we take this outside and we'll see how small it feels up your ass?
Hey, I'm actually proud of you that you at least tried this again to make it work.
You see, Soul, you see what I have to deal with?
Yeah, but I would say that Revis is at least more in character than you are.
But don't you think it's weird that you're making a fake show in another fake show in your actual show?
No. Hey, it's Soul, and welcome back to Warcraft Weekly, the show that makes you kind of sort of miss, remember Saturday morning cartoons? Yeah, I miss that too. This week's episode, as always, is brought to you by the generous people that have pledged their real life money so I can keep giving you more of this stuff and all things Warcraft. Let's welcome our newest patron to the family. We have Bob here. Wait. Isn't that you, Bob?
Yeah, no one new signed up this week, so I thought I would do something nice.
Hey, that's really cool of you, man. You didn't have to do
Oh,
that.
I don't? Okay.
Wait, -50? How the f did that happen? Anyway, let's get to what went down this week. -50? Earlier this week, Blizzard issued a follow-up on their forum regarding the recent DDoS attacks on their WoW and WoW Classic infrastructure, which left players unable to log in earlier this month. According to the statement, within a few days, authorities were able to successfully identify and arrest a suspect. I gotta ask, how would it feel to be that man, that woman, that suspect sitting in jail waiting to be prosecuted, and on top of that, probably being extradited to the United States to face additional punishment? Think about it, you were born into this world with incredible potential that has amounted to you getting locked up for what amounts to inconveniencing players of a video game. And the most that you're getting out of this is what? Butthurt tweets? Really mad forum posts?
Hey little man, what are you in here for?
I DDoSed Blizz for the lulz.
You what? Kids these days. You know what? Just bend over.
Oh, I'm sure that person's parents must be proud. It actually wouldn't surprise me if the parents played WoW, were huge fans, and they named their kid Lothar. Dude, you know what? That is just it. The Warcraft franchise is old enough that we can really go there. Lothar, the hacker god. This is his origin story. In the end, it's all about sticking it to his fanboy parents. So you know what? F Lothar and everyone like him.
You mean like humans?
No.
You mean like the Alliance?
No. No. In WoW news, patch 825 might be coming a little bit sooner than we think. The background downloader on the Battle.net launcher is working its magic, and this week, Blizzard unveiled official, aka incomplete patch notes for WoW's 0.5 patch, which, as you know, these kinds of patches are typically lighter on repeatable content and more like a capstone to the rest of the tier or the season. But it's also the time to add permanent features to the game, not just related to an expansion. Here's a quick overview. 825 is all about getting people together with a recruiter friend system which will compel players to aggressively call out to their friends, family, and to the deceased. Hey, this game's old, preferably long enough to earn the new recruiter friend rewards. PartySync will make it so that your friends and guildmates can ask if you're available to run lobby content with them, and you can no longer use the excuse, I don't have a character at that level, to get out of it, because now with the press of a button, it just works. Personally, I'm not that interested in going out to do old quest content again, even if I can get experience and rewards, but I'm more interested in the looser level restrictions for running dungeons. So if you want to basically do vanilla time walking, you can just ask one of your buddies to get on a low level character, and then either queue up or run those dungeons so you too can relive the horror of Wailing Caverns. In the description below, I'm going to have a link to the patch notes as well as a pair of videos that go over PartySync and the recruiter friend features if you haven't seen them already. But while we're here, I'm going to highlight a few interesting but lesser known bits. Reputation requirements for completing the initial war campaign have been completely lifted, meaning that you can quickly knock it out on your ult with no speed bumps. Over in Azeroth, that early requirement to get a combat ally to level 3 has also been lifted. Of course, you're still going to be doing plenty of combat ally dailies in the meantime, but hey, that's just one less hurdle to jump over. And also, a quick shout out to everyone who was able to get the crab mount this week, because this week marks the first time that people are able to complete the periodic destruction achievement. I'm only slightly jealous, so give me one moment while I drink my sorrows away while also doing a product placement. Frozen Orb now slows down when it deals damage, and not when it hits the tiniest pebble or shrubbery. And for the Lunar Festival event, it looks like there's a quest that can make your flower crown transmoggable year-round.
My dreams of being a whimsical night elf will soon come true.
The Black Market Auction House is going to be updated with a slew of new items, that is, items that aren't new to the game, but they are new to the auction house. This was posted on the French version of the 8.2.5 patch notes, and Wowhead has provided a translation. Most of these items are mounts from old raid content, but a certain pair of shoulders is also going to make an appearance.
Oh no.
Oh yes!
No, don't do it.
The tusks of Manoroth plate shoulders will have a chance to appear on auction. Easily one of the most wanted cosmetic pieces in WoW for its iconic look, it'll come to no surprise that whenever it's up for sale, it'll quickly shoot up to gold cap. Fortunately, good thing I don't have to farm for them.
Ugh.
Since I got them.
No.
Yes! Oh, does it hurt viewers to see this embarrassing display of a Blood Elf cosplaying as an orc? Like, oh, look at me, I'm so honorable, I'm Grom Hellscream.
Downvote, 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 downvote.
Curiously missing from these patch notes is something that I've been trying to champion for the longest time, because I think that this is a much more important feature than Recruiter Friend or Party Sync.
And literally no one cares about it.
Whatever, I'm talking about Guild Finder 2.0, as well as improvements to WoW communities. I reported on this a while back, and at least as of this recording, it's still on the PTR, at least for now. But for some reason, it's not included on the official patch notes at all. I wouldn't put it past anybody to make an omission as colossal as this, but this is not a feature that you don't do a blog post on. So here's the quick summary. The Guild Finder will get a huge buff that allows you to search for a guild based on keywords, something you couldn't do before. The search is based on the description written for said guild, so if you want to find an Alliance roleplay guild full of gnomes, sure, you can now find it. You can also send and accept guild invites much more easily, and you don't have to be online to receive applicants. Searching is also being added to communities in much the same way, letting you search your entire region for a community dedicated to, I don't know, WoW players who also love Pokemon. So naturally we pet battle, and we'll probably play that World of Warcraft pet game thing coming to phones. Shut up, you know it's coming. This isn't a feature to be so easily ignored, and yet it is. I tried asking Warcraft devs and Ian over on Twitter, and so far, nothing. As far as memory serves, if this feature still doesn't make it into 8.2.5, this will be the only time that a major feature has been in development and then dropped in 2 consecutive patches. Because it was in the 8.2 PTR and then pulled, history might repeat itself.
Yeah, this isn't the only time. There was the dance studio.
Yeah, but we haven't seen anything on that.
And aerial combat.
The same difference.
And player housing.
Well, that didn't quite happen the way we wanted it to.
And then there's fixing shaman.
Okay, Bob.
And warlocks.
This just in a late and unscripted update, not only did the background downloader appear, but we also got a release candidate, which pretty much solidifies the fact that the Guild Finder and the Community Finder are in fact coming in 8.2.5. On top of that, we're also getting a release date for the patch, which is next week. Crap. So this is it, folks. Big story reveals are coming next week, new social features. This is a really exciting time in WoW right now. Now the only question left is what is going to happen in the story. Once upon a time we dealt with the roller coaster of emotions as we were trying to figure out who burned Teldrassil, what were the circumstances around its actual destruction, and then we found out that it was the most obvious freaking thing. Now we have a bit more of an open-ended question. How is this war finally going to be resolved? Is it going to be Sylvanas' ultimate defeat? Is she going to run away? Is a big baddie going to suddenly just kind of force its way into the narrative? Or, and this is a crazy one, will we be surprised? One of the best things about WoW today is that we have 2 versions to rely on. One that we can look back on and experience the nostalgia. The other gives us something to look forward to. So I'm excited. I'm like wiggling, but I'm gonna be pretty busy. I gotta make sure that my hunter, who's the heal, gotta make sure he's ready for the rest of this war campaign. My paladin, he's already set. I'm pumped. I'm stoked. let's do this. Target is taking a bit of heat recently. It looks like they've canceled some pre-orders for WoW's 15th anniversary edition. According to a post on Reddit, it's due to Target overselling their pre-orders and not stopping sales soon enough. Obviously, that's not stopping some players from blaming Blizzard for not providing enough product, especially considering that the complaints about its limited supply have been pretty loud. But let's not get too carried away though. This is a collector's edition, so by its nature, it shouldn't be readily available. Otherwise, it's not a collector's edition, it's just a more expensive version with stuff. It's an let's screw it, let's make it rain boxes, because we love taking that sweet, sweet money from you. Suckers. In WoW Classic news, Blizzard is continuing their ongoing efforts to fairly disperse the population from realms that still have high queues as we approach WoW Classic turning 1 month old. This week, they're opening up Latin realms in the Americas region and Spanish realms for Europe. On top of that, they're announcing free transfer options from Classic's more high population realms over to the realms that I just talked about, as well as a handful of lower population realms. The sort of approach with observing populations, offering free transfers, followed by opening up realms for players in specific demographics groups like language, is going to continue. Remember, many of the realms here that are medium or high are actually very full, and if nothing changes by the time Phase 2 begins and all the layering disappears, all of these realms will have queues in excess of many hours. Now I get it, I've been saying this pretty much every single week, but I did say that WoW Classic is nearly a month old, and I'm willing to bet that there are a number of people who have already quit, or they may face real decisions as soon as next week when they decide to re-up their subscription or not. So this problem could potentially solve itself in just the next 2 weeks. Now think of yourself for a moment. Given where you're at in the game right now with regards to progression, and I guess more importantly fun, are you going to stick around? Maybe you're back for good, totally happy in your version of WoW. Maybe you're like me and despite the fondness for what was, you're good for now. Your nostalgia is satisfied, but you'll definitely drop in from time to time. And for some, maybe you remembered why you quit WoW in the first place, and you're just happy to take that time that would go into WoW and put it into other things. This is what defines the enduring power of WoW Classic, that it's a pledge from Blizzard to preserve the original experience as best as they can, and always make it available. But now that I said all of that thoughtful stuff, let's move on to the terrible no-good bug that threatened the fledgling communities over in WoW Classic. This week, Blizzard fixed a bug that allowed players to reset raids similarly to how you can reset dungeons, and use this bug to farm weeks, maybe months worth of boss kills in just a few hours. Naturally, the thought of receiving this much loot in such a short amount of time was hard to resist for some, resulting in numerous server economies being compromised by a flood of raid level items and characters who are way too geared, given that it hasn't even been a month since Classic's launch. Along with fixing the bug, Blizzard clarified that they would investigate and identify abusers of this exploit, and then take punitive measures.
That sounds like a sex move.
No, but it gave me a justice boner. Dude, that's my arm. Stop it. There are some who are actually pushing against this message and decided to not blame the players who are taking advantage of this bug or exploit, but to blame Blizzard instead for allowing this bug to exist due to a lack of testing, and to blame layering technology, which seemed to be the proverbial crack in the armor. And to that I say, what? So yeah, this is the What of the Week, where I take a stand on something and I'm like, what? The raid reset is an integral part of World of Warcraft's endgame fabric. The original time gating that prevented too much of the good stuff to be dealt out. 15 years later, a case is being made that it's somehow okay to use roundabout methods to circumvent the actual process, get caught, and then throw up your hands and be like, oh, officer! I didn't know I couldn't do that. What's really sad is that the players who are going to get punished, and I really hope it's good, they put a ton of hours into this game over the past couple of weeks to get their characters leveled and into a raid, and only to risk throwing all of that away to get loot that is, at least from my perspective, as old as vanilla. Somehow though, at least this is my opinion, I don't think the game is going to be as ruined as some might say. Yeah, if you were to say your realm's economy was at risk, I wouldn't entirely disagree, but come on, we're still at an early stage where having an excess of raid materials isn't suddenly going to make you this Nefarian killing machine because, well, you gotta wait a little while for that, buddy. Blizzard has most recently been trying to deal with the totality of 15 years worth of World of Warcraft, dealing with issues like leveling and endgame progression that some would argue is a little bit awkward. And supposedly, WoW still has like tens, maybe hundreds of subscribers. I think WoW Classic players can deal with extra lava cores and crafting recipes flying in the wild. Ideally, Blizzard can investigate and just remove all of these ill-gotten gains. Otherwise, really, this is just another event in World of Warcraft's history, from, I don't know, corrupted blood to Serenite bombs to half of everything that happened in Warlords of Draenor. And that's the show. This is it. It's coming, 825 next week. New story developments, new features, social stuff, recruiter friend, guild finder. It's finally happening. The one tip that I'll offer you folks is to do your best to leave your expectations at the door. We've been speculating and predicting and making up fake stuff about what's going to happen in this Battle for Azeroth storyline. There are a lot of folks that really can't wait for this thing to end because they want to move on to the next thing, or they're just tired of what's going on right now. In the meantime, though, with what we're going to be enjoying next week, and some people I'm sure are going to be doing it on Twitch, I'm going to be doing it on Twitch, so if you want to watch, feel free. Just try to leave your expectations at the door. I'm not very fond of the fact that the World of Warcraft story is not very sandboxy, as in it's a story that runs on rails. We're just here along for the ride. The story is written around us, and we take small little pivots on how we see the perspective. Regardless, it's a story to enjoy. So no matter what we see, if our expectations are met or not met, just try to enjoy yourself. Earlier this week, I put out my award-winning, world-famous survival guide parodies, although I was hesitant to put it out at first. To which fellow WoW YouTuber Haruma Red X said, "Just do it. Release it now. Put it out now. Do it." So I did. Hashtag peer pressure. I find it especially entertaining to look for comments from people who clearly have never seen my other content. Biggest retail hater on YouTube, lol. I thought you liked this game. You just got uninvited at the BlizzCon. Sorry, consumer friend. Celso is complete trash. I hope he gets cancer. Oh wait, he is cancer. Okay, this one I take issue with. Like, SoulSo? For real?
Sorry, I'll write something better next time.
We should all know by now that I do these particular videos for fun. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of roasting. SoulSo. Whatever. Anyway, for the last part, let's talk about BlizzCon 2019 for just a moment. As you know, BlizzCon is a chance to get all sorts of information from the teat of Blizzard. It comes in two forms, one being the big presentations and slides that they prepare for us. The other source comes from questions that we ask them, either from the big public Q&A full of usually boneheaded questions, and from up-close interviews directly with developers. So with that said, I need your help. I'm not making it super widely known yet, but I might just have an opportunity to ask questions to the WoW dev team in person. I'm starting to put together a big old list of questions depending on who I get to talk to, but I would love to hear from you folks at home and on the toilet. What questions would you like to ask them? This isn't a contest or a giveaway. I just want everyone to help participate. I mean, consider the prize being that your question does get asked. Because I have to admit, it would be pretty sweet to see over on Wowhead or MMO Champion, like over one of their blog posts that goes over what SoulSoBreezy asked to such and such people. And your submitted questions were a part of that, so send me your WoW-related questions. And I'll do the rest of the work, which includes overcoming social anxieties that held me down for about 15 years, and in fact ruined my chances at doing dev interviews last year, but I feel particularly vengeful this year. So stay tuned for next week when I take a crack at addressing item level bloat in the World of Warcraft. Can it be fixed? I actually haven't even thought this video through, so probably not, but it's about the journey, not the destination, right? Does that even work here? But thank you very, very much for watching and making it to the end. Don't forget to like the video and to subscribe. Catch me on Discord or Twitch or Twitter, and we'll see you later. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.